Hey everybody, it's me and my buddy Mcruff. What I'm about to show y'all is the new fall season of JudgeAlex. And it's a case of 3 college students allegedly attending Howard University. And they became roommates while they're being on the same step team. But one particular person decided not to pay her rent. So let's take a look at this case and see how this turns out.
Going back and forth. Sometimes she receives my email, sometimes she doesn't. It was just complicated.
So the entire month of September, you stay there rent-free because you cannot figure out a way to get $562 to the landlord.
Today, is there such a thing as a free ride?
When do you move out? Because obviously you can't stay there rent-free. When did you move out? When did you move out of the apartment? Did you ever move out of the apartment?
No.
Apparently I'm wrong. You can't stay there rent-free.
As a cop, he stood up for the law. As a trial lawyer, he fought for the truth. And as a criminal court judge, he commanded authority. Now he returns to preside over America's courtroom. Judge Alex. Sterling Jordan and AFIA Wilson are suing their roommate for back rent. They also claim they're about to get evicted because she refuses to pay her portion of the rent. PORSHA Randell says her roommates weren't honest about the amount of rent she was supposed to pay. She agreed to split the rent 4 ways, but her roommates didn't try to find a 4th person to split the costs, so she doesn't owe them anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. Honorable Judge Alex Ferrer presiding.
Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Miss Wilson and Mr. Jordan, you're suing your former roommate, Miss Randall, because you say that you all moved into an apartment, she agreed to pay rent, and then refused to pay, and you're stuck with the entire lease, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Randall, you say that you're not obligated to pay because the agreement was there would be 4 roommates instead of 3. They changed the deal, and so you don't want to live there anymore, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
We're a step team.
You're a what?
Step team?
A step team?
Yes.
So you're all in college together?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Before this incident, were you friends or did you become friends as a result of this roommate thing?
We became friends because of the organization itself. I met them through the organization.
Okay, all right. And just for people who don't know, I've actually seen it once. What is a step team?
Sure.
Should I just show? Should I just?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to show me, go ahead.
Okay.
Wish I had a spotlight to put on you, but
Okay, call me.
Pound sign. Pound sign. Get off of your Twitter and stop.
And just let Howard take the lead.
that was really good.
Yeah, so pretty much what step is a dance form. You use your hands and your feet to make noise in an organized way. Everybody's doing the same exact thing.
Good. Very talented. And much more rhythm than either Mason or I have. Did you step?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. You barely walk. I don't know why I'm asking that. So, all of you are members of that group, and you decide to become roommates together.
Yeah.
So what happens?
We moved in August. I was already living there, so they moved their stuff in August, and we were kind of still trying to get things together. Roommates were moving out, they were moving in.
And how much was rent going to be? What was it?
$22.50 total, and
What was your plan?
we originally wanted 4 people, so it would have been $562.50 per person.
Okay.
But with just 3 people, it would be $750 per
Okay,
person.
but the plan was to have four people.
Right.
Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So tell me what happened. Did you guys ever sign a lease or not?
Yes, I actually have the lease here.
All right.
So originally we were going to try to get 4 people, but we were having difficulty finding a 4th person. So we actually met in my room, and I explained, I was like, you know, if we don't find 4 people, we're going to have to pay $750 per month. And she agreed to it. She was like, okay, well, you know, that's fine. I told her for the first month right now, we don't have a 4th person, so we have to pay the deposit and we have to pay the rent for that month.
Was this conversation before or after you had signed the lease?
This was before we signed the lease.
Okay. All right. Is that all true, Ms. Randall?
No.
Okay. What part's true?
We were still looking for a roommate, so we weren't agreeing to move forward with only having 4 people.
So you guys are already in the apartment. What is the plan for the first month? The landlord doesn't want to wait till you find a 4th.
That's what I was saying. That's why we had a conversation. I was like, if we don't find a 4th person, then we have to pay $750 per person.
And the landlord let you move in before you paid the rent?
Right, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
It's
see your lease.
partially because I already was living there.
Oh, because you were already living there.
Right, so she already knew me. She liked me. So she was like, you know, okay, I'll let you all work things out.
Okay, so up to this point, who had been living there? You and who else?
Me and I had 2 other roommates.
Okay, so Sterling and Portia were both additions.
Right.
Right.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now tell me what happens. You move in. You sign this lease, right?
Yeah.
And what happens?
Well, okay, so I thought that everyone had filled out their application because my landlord hadn't said anything, filled out their application, people were paying rent, and then later on, I think about October, my landlord calls me. She was like, Portia hasn't paid anything. She hasn't paid a security deposit. She hasn't paid the first month's rent. She hasn't paid anything.
Coming up, can Portia back up her claim?
You should be able to produce to me 2 pieces of evidence to prove you paid your rent. One is the one that shows that you filled out an application, which would be the email that you sent. The other is the receipt that is sent to your email. Any of those you have in your possession right now, I'll look at.
And later, Judge Alex learns of Portia's plans for her future.
It's not that I just don't want to pay or I'm trying to
Ms.
get
Randall,
over
what are you studying? What are you studying?
Poli-sci, political science.
Political science? Why didn't I guess that?
And AFIA Wilson. They're suing their roommate for $5,062, claiming she hasn't paid her share of the rent and is about to get them all evicted. PORSHA RANDELL says she agreed to split the rent 4 ways, but her roommates didn't try to find a 4th person to split the costs, so she owes them nothing.
What happened, Ms. Randall?
I had paid, and for some reason I didn't know if she was having a problem with receiving my payments because apparently you pay online.
You paid the landlord directly?
Because even to move in, you have to pay for your application, you have to put in for your first month's deposit, and the landlord kept saying that she was having issues receiving my payments. And
Did she receive your application?
She said she never even received my application.
How'd you send your application?
Email.
You sent an email application?
Yeah, I'm sorry, she didn't do that because Sterling did the same thing,
Right.
and although there was an issue with the whole receiving the payment, like he had a receipt in his email that said that he paid the payment. She couldn't even show the landlord that she had this receipt. So, like,
Correct, because there was issues with payment. The money was taken out of my account.
2 separate things. Let's talk about one at a time here, because it's an awfully big coincidence that both things get lost. Okay? You have an application you're filling out that you submit electronically by email.
Right.
Okay? Typically, we can go into your email and see that you sent it and the day you sent it. Then you have the payment you made, right? So you should be able to produce to me 2 pieces of evidence to prove you paid your rent. One is the one that shows that you filled out an application, which would be the email that you sent, which should be able to show me. The other is the receipt that is sent to your email from the website that shows that you made the payment. A third way for you to prove it, I'm trying to make things as easy for you as I can here, is for you to show me a bank statement that shows that it was deducted when you made that wire transfer online for the amount of whatever it was. Any of those you have in your possession right now, I'll look at.
I don't have any in my possession currently, but my bank statement I do not have because my account's closed. And because I did try to retrieve that information, but they said they can't get anything out of my account once the account's closed.
That's okay. I'll take the email that shows you paid.
I've already told you, not you, them, that I've never received one. Like I told them that I've had issues with my payment.
That doesn't even make sense, because how would he get an email from the same exact website that says that he paid for
I mean,
it?
that was my issue. Like I told them that I was having
Let's go beyond that. So that's the first payment. What happens after you don't get the first payment and you speak to her and she says, I paid it, I did all this?
Okay, so I don't know, maybe a couple weeks passed, and I assumed that my landlord got it because she hadn't called me and told me that she didn't get anything, that there was any more of a problem. But like months later, my landlord comes and tells me, well, you know, she still hasn't paid anything. Until now, still haven't gotten an application. She hasn't gotten any money. And the whole time Sterling and I have been paying rent. So I was just like, I don't understand.
So you guys at this point are dividing it for 3 people, so it's $750 each.
Right.
You've paid your $1,500, and they haven't gotten her $750.
Right.
Okay.
Coming up, what happened to Portia's plans to carry her share of the weight?
I always intended to pay the rent. It's not like I was just...
When were you going to pay it?
Whenever
Because we're way beyond September. So when were you going to pay September's rent?
Judge Alex is back with a case of Sterling Jordan and AFIA Wilson, who say they're on the verge of getting evicted because their roommate refuses to pay her portion of the rent. They're suing for $5,062. PORSHA Randell claims she tried to pay online, but the landlord is having a problem receiving her rent.
All right. So what's going on with the other monthly payments?
I was still having the issue with paying the $650. It still hasn't been resolved or wasn't resolved. It was actually supposed to be $560. Excuse me, it's not $650.
No, I understand that, but you said
because we were supposed to have the 4 people.
I understand that you thought you were going to pay $562.
Right.
Even if you weren't in agreement to pay $750, you were in agreement to pay $562. Okay. So what I'm trying to understand is, why are you not paying what you agreed to pay? Why aren't you paying the $562 and saying, this is all I'm going to pay because that's what I agreed to. We agreed to a 4-person split. I'll pay the $562. If you guys don't want to get a 4th person, you eat the difference, but I'm paying $562. Instead, you stayed there the entire month of September and didn't pay a penny. And the answer you're giving me is, yeah, because the money would be coming out of my account and I don't know where it's going, and which makes no sense at all. You know you owe $562, and you know you're staying there, and you can't stay there rent-free. So why didn't you pay the $562 for September?
Because we were trying to find another means of payment. I never had a problem with paying the $562.
What does that mean, another means of payment?
Like a way for the landlord to receive the money. Like I never have a problem with paying it, or I never said I wouldn't pay.
Wait a minute. Wait. Don't interrupt. Well, what does that mean? You were trying to find another means of payment?
Because the landlord, for some reason, it's just complicated to be getting in contact with her or going back and forth. Sometimes she receives my email, sometimes she doesn't. And it was just taking a while for her to figure out a way for us to get money or go back and forth, whether she wanted me to give her, she didn't want me to send her a check. And it was just complicated.
So the entire month of September, you stay there rent-free because you cannot figure out a way to get $562 to the landlord. How did you possibly survive before they came up with internet payments? How did you do that? You couldn't go down there and get cash and bring it and get a receipt?
I always intended to pay the rent. It's not like I was just...
When were you going to pay it?
Whenever
Because we're way beyond September. So when were you going to pay September's rent?
Whenever she got back to me about how she wanted me to receive however she wanted to receive the money.
The landlord doesn't want your money back, so she's not calling. She doesn't want it bad enough, so she's not calling you to explain.
She could have sent a check because the only one that you can't send a check for is a security deposit, and you signed a lease that says that the only thing that you can't send a check for is the security deposit.
She told me
and Renee told me that.
So what happens after that? How long? When do you move out? Because obviously you can't stay there rent free. When did you move out?
She has.
When did you move out of the apartment? Did you ever move out of the apartment?
No.
Apparently I'm wrong. You can't stay there rent free.
Yeah, she went MIA for a long time.
What do you mean MIA?
I'm never there.
Trying to find her. No, she just disappeared, and we were trying to find her. Like we were blowing up her phone. There was a whole night. Sterling blew up her phone for like 20 calls. I don't even know how many calls.
Where did you go to live?
I was just I was crashing at a friend's house.
Why did you go somewhere else?
Because
She was wrong.
living there is ridiculous. They are constantly up. They're up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. There's always people in the house.
You know when you can complain about that? When you pay rent.
I mean, that's what I love. That's why I love.
Coming up, how has Porsha managed to continue living rent-free with Sterling and AFIA?
When did you move back in?
I came back towards the end of November.
So you moved back in the end of November. Did you pay any money since then?
JudgeAlex is back with a case of Sterling Jordan and AFIA Wilson, who are suing their roommate for $5,062. They say they're on the verge of getting evicted because she hasn't paid rent since they moved in. PORSHA Randell says she never agreed to pay the amount of rent her roommates are demanding, so she owes them nothing.
So you're telling me that she signed a lease, because I'm looking at a lease here, and the lease does not have 3 names and a blank. The lease has 3 names and a blank, and it doesn't have 4 names. It has 3 names, the 3 of you, okay? And it's signed by all 3 of you. So you're telling me she signed the lease, didn't pay August, didn't pay September, moved out in October?
No.
Didn't pay October. I mean, was she sleeping there, sleeping somewhere else?
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there at all.
Stuff was there.
I mean, they have people living in the house now.
You left your stuff here, though, right?
Yes.
So all your furniture, your clothes, and all that was in the apartment. So now, in addition to not getting rent, they are storing your junk. So October, no rent. November, no rent. And what did you say about December?
Still no rent.
No rent. She says she's still living there. So when does she move back in?
Okay, so for November, we got an eviction letter.
Yes, by the end of October, we got an eviction letter saying that by November 20th, we had to be out the house if the rent wasn't paid. So that's when we started contacting Porsha because we couldn't get in touch with her. I called her so many times with no answer, to the point where we had to start calling
Her dad.
Like it's not. They all
Does your
just
dad?
blame it
Are you
all
living there now? Are you in the apartment?
Yes.
So at some point you moved back in.
I came back towards the end of November.
So you moved back in the end of November. Did you pay any money since then?
No.
So you're living there rent free. December, Merry Christmas, I'm not giving you rent. January, no rent, and on and on. This is the way it goes.
It's not that I just don't want to pay or I'm trying to
Ms.
get
Randall,
over
what do you
someone.
study? What do you study?
Poli-sci, political science.
Political science? Why didn't I guess that? What are you two studying?
I'm a political science major as well.
Chemistry.
Political science?
Chemistry.
Chemistry. Pre-med?
Yes.
Good for you. Pre-law?
Yes.
Really? Are you pre-law? Really? Really? Okay, look. You seem like a sweet young lady, okay? You seem like a good person who is doing something really stupid. And I know, and you know, that it's wrong. So what's your take on what happened here?
I do believe I was wrong just for not paying zero, to have not paid them anything at all. I was wrong for that.
Okay.
But the amount that they are requesting...
You better stop while you're ahead. You better stop while you're ahead, because while you're trying to be a lawyer ahead of time, you have no winning argument. You're on the hook for the full amount. The full amount is $5,062. Now pay them, and good luck with all your careers.
All right.
JudgeAlex has ruled in favor of the plaintiffs and ordered the defendant to pay them $5,062.
I think the judge was fair, but at the same time, I still don't think I deserve to pay back the full amount of money. The way I handled the situation, he's right, was incorrectly. He's correct about that.
We would definitely take more care in taking our next roommates, even maybe a credit check, to make sure that, they themselves don't have the same problem.
Yeah, I can't go through this again. This was,